guys, today we're going to be counting down my top 10 most underrated coasters. These coasters aren't really in order except for the last two, so let's get in. At number 10 we have Riddler's Revenge at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This ride's a very fun ride. Yes, it's a stand-up coaster, so that's why it's so low, but it's just a lot of fun. Your leg gets so numb afterwards, and this thing is absolutely crazy. This thing is so intense. It's almost as intense as Kumba. Yes, I said that. It didn't crush my balls as bad, but I do prefer sit-down coasters. This was my first stand-up coaster after all, but it was a really enjoyable experience. It wasn't as bad as people said it was by the standing aspect of it. And a theme on this coaster is probably one of the best coaster themes ever. It's in my intro, so that's a good sign, right? At number 9, we have Twisted Colossus at Six Flags Magic Mountain. The only reason why it's lower on the list is because I've ridden it only once and a lot of people talk about this thing. And I rode this in the middle of the train. But man, this is a fantastic ride. It's my number one coaster, so that's saying a lot. Make sure you check out my review for my full rave about it. Number 8 is Manta at SeaWorld Orlando. This is a really fun flying coaster. And yes, while Todd 2 is a better ride, this is just a way better themed experience. And splashdown in the picture is awesome. You can touch the water, and the waterfall is one of the greatest near misses of all time. The music is absolutely beautiful to listen to, and the lift hill is also really fun too because the music is also there and you get some good views of Orlando. It's just really fun being in the flying position so much. I don't rank this thing crazy high. I'm looking at you, Bybee. But this is just a beautiful and exciting experience to get on. Must do if you're at SeaWorld. Number 7 is Wicked Cyclone at Six Flags New England. This thing is just absolutely crazy. Even though it's kind of lower, just because it's kind of like a little bit more talked about, but this thing is absolutely ridiculous how much airtime this thing gives you. I love this ride so much. Number 6 is Kumba at Busch Gardens Tampa. This ride is intense as crap, and yes, it may be a little bit headbangy, but wow, this ride is something unbelievable. Like, I just can't describe this in words. You must ride this on front and back. Back ride is the absolute crap. If they reverse this thing like one row backwards, like on DC Rivals, that would probably be one of the greatest coaster experiences of all time. Wow. Number 5 is SheiKra at Busch Gardens Tampa. This is a really fun ride made by B&M. The airtime's great, the drop is great, it's intense. Even though it's a short ride, I still love SheiKra so much. I know this thing's a one-trick pony, but that hanging on the drop is something unbelievable. You just hang there for just like 4 seconds and then you drop. It's just so much fun just being on that, especially in the front row, because you're basically just hanging out your seat and the restraint is that only there. This ride is just fun. It's not something crazy intense like Monta or Kumba at the same park. It's just a lot of fun that people can enjoy and just have a lot of fun with and get good views of the park too. So our next spot, get ready West Coast fanboy, because at number 4 we have Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. This thing is absolutely ridiculous how much airtime this gives you. It's not as much airtime moments as something like Superman the Ride, but man, those airtime moments are absolutely ridiculous how much airtime you get. That drop is simply fantastic in the back, and I just love this ride so much. I know that Ryan Clark, West Coast fanboy, and Bradley Edholm overrate this thing, and Bybee is correct. This thing is absolutely crazy how much airtime this gives. And I rode this thing before Bybee, so shut up about that I rode this after him. So yeah, but Jesus Christ, this thing is crazy awesome. The music on the lift hill is awesome because it's basically like kind of like Jaws theme. Oh, like there's 3 different kinds of themes. You can check them out on my channel, but man, those 3 themes are awesome in each in its own ways. I like theme number 3 a lot just because it's just really fun. 2 is great, 1 is good, but wow, I just love this so much. And I rode this thing 7 times, 4 in the back, 2 in the middle, and once in front, and every single ride was amazing. Man, I just love this ride so much. Even though it's kind of weak at the end, but man, those 3 hills and the drop is absolutely ridiculous. That speed hill is crazy. The first airtime hill is crazy, and that drop is probably the best I've ever been on right now. Jeez, this thing is so much fun. I can't wait to go back to SeaWorld and just ride this thing. It's just so much fun. Make sure you ride this thing when you're there. You can't help but love there's B&M clamshells, and there's no seatbelt, which is absolutely amazing. You don't feel restricted at all, and you just get floated out of your seat. Like, It's just crazy how much airtime this thing gives you. Yes, this ride may be overrated in some people's book, but I think it's just a lot of fun. Number 3 is Montu at Busch Gardens, Tampa. Man, this ride is intense as crap. That's all I have to say about this thing. Very underrated. I love that ride so much. It's a cult classic, and I just want to ride it every single time when I go to Busch. Number 2 is Whirlwind at Seabreeze. You might be saying, why the hell is there a spinning coaster on here? Let me tell you this. This spinning coaster is probably the best spinning coaster I've ever been on. Better than Pandemonium, better than Cobra's Curse. This thing is so underrated. Literally nobody knows about this thing. Yes, it's a clone, but this thing is absolutely crazy intense for a spinning coaster. You get a beautiful view of Lake Ontario, and this thing is just so re-rideable. You can ride this so many times. I've ridden this at least like 20 times in like a day or something like that. Yes, I may be biased to it, but this is a great ride. This is a must-do if you go to Seabreeze. It spins way more than some of the more spinning coasters out there. And number 1 is Jackrabbit at Seabreeze. Ah, the coaster that I've been on more times than any other coaster in the world. At least 50 rides on it. I've been on this thing at least 11 times in a single day. It was one of, if not my first coaster. Yes, I'm crazy biased about this thing, but man, I just love this thing so much. Literally nobody talks about this thing, and it's significant to our history because it's the oldest continuously operating roller coaster in North America. So that's a huge accomplishment for Seabreeze. This thing opened in 1920, and at the time of its completion, it was the world's tallest roller coaster. It was beaten shortly after by the Giant Dipper at Santa Cruz. It just shows you how old this thing is. You must ride this for the history and the credit, and it's just so much fun to ride. If you're in the Buffalo or Rochester area, make sure you come on down to Seabreeze, to the most underrated park and the most underrated coaster in the world. So that's it for the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!